Good afternoon, all. My name is Trooper Josue Dorellis. That's Trooper Josue, Josue, last name Dorellis, Dorelus. Thank you all for taking the time to come out, as we'll be providing some updated information as it pertains to the more recent arrest of Peter Manfredonia. Before we begin, as an agency, we'd like to take this opportunity to express our condolences to the families of the victims involved in some of the more violent crimes at the hands of Manfredonia. Today, I'm joined by Colonel Stavros Malikas, the commanding officer of the Connecticut State Police, Lieutenant Colonel David Montini, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Davis, as well as various command staff, the FBI Special Agent in Charge, David Sundberg. We'll certainly do our best to answer any questions that you may have at this moment. However, many of the details of the arrests and the events that transpired over the past few days are still being established. Before we answer any questions, I'd like to invite a few individuals to the podium. At this moment, I'd like to invite Colonel Stavros Malikas to say a few words.
Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Stavros Malikas, commanding officer of the Connecticut State Police. On behalf of the Division of State Police, I want to commend our troopers for their response, their diligence, and their investigation in this case. All of us are greatly saddened by the loss of the life of 2 Connecticut residents, the severe injury to an elderly person, the terror inflicted upon countless others. The savagery of these crimes has propelled our detectives to commit themselves to finding this individual as quickly as possible. However, this was not only a Connecticut State Police case. We are grateful for the crucial assistance of our federal partners, the state police agencies in Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. The FBI and the U.S. Marshals were vital in the fugitive case, as were multiple local law enforcement agencies, especially the Derby Police Department. We thank them all for their expertise and their assistance. Finally, many thanks to the citizens of Connecticut who served as our eyes and ears as they witnessed the suspect in various locations and throughout the Northeast. This case is a perfect example of partnership we form with our police counterparts, with residents, and the local and state and federal agencies. The tireless effort to locate the suspect led to his capture. Thank you.
Following Colonel Malikas, I'd like to invite FBI Special Agent in Charge, David Sundberg, who has a few remarks.
Good afternoon. I'm David Sundberg, Special Agent in Charge of the New Haven Division of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'd first, on behalf of the FBI, I'd like to express sympathy and condolences to all the victims and the families of the victims of these senseless acts of violence. We are very, very proud to have been part of a collaborative law enforcement team that worked to find Mr. Manfredonia and take him into custody without any further violence. Although many agencies played a great role in this, I'd like to specifically thank the Connecticut State Police, Pennsylvania State Police, New Jersey State Police, Maryland State Police, and the United States Marshal Service, as well as the Derby Police Department, and wonderful collaboration from the Connecticut State's Attorney's Office and the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Connecticut. The FBI is also very appreciative of the assistance of its private sector partners, the tips called into our tip line, and the willingness of so many to cooperate with all of the law enforcement officers working to stop these violent attacks. Working with our partners is at the core of what the FBI does. This is where we're strongest, providing resources and capacity to bolster the efforts to keep our communities safe all across the nation. Thank you.
Lieutenant Michael Pendleton, the commanding officer of Central District, will now brief you and answer a few questions as it pertains to our investigative steps. As a reminder, this case is still active and some of the information is very limited at this time. However, we'll do our best to shed some light on some of the more recent events while preserving the integrity of this investigation. Lieutenant Pendleton?
Last night at 9 o'clock in Hagersfield, Maryland, the team of investigators were at the pilot truck stop. We were there on a tip that Mr. Manfredonia could be located in that area. We had 2 state police detectives on scene, and during the course of talking to the U.S. Marshals Service, the detectives were explaining and talking about the characteristics of Mr. Manfredonia. As they were talking about his height, 6'3", 6'4", one of the team members turned, and approximately 20 feet away from him was a gentleman who was 6'4". Detective Michael Zeller, at that point, who was providing the update, looked over at Mr. Manfredonia and noticed that he had his red sneakers on. At that point, the side view profile matched the photos that we had. Immediately, Detective Zeller and the team went over to Mr. Manfredonia with their guns drawn and told him to get on the ground. At that point, he went to the ground. He did not resist, and absolutely no force was used to effect the arrest. I would like to recognize all of our federal partners, all of our state partners, Derby Police Department. The New Haven FBI was crucial in assisting us with this out-of-state fugitive. Special Agent James Wines worked tirelessly over the past couple days to assist us in making this arrest. Any questions? We're dealing with the state's attorney on that right now. We're anticipating next week or the week after to get down to extradite Mr. Manfredonia.
I believe Maryland State Police mentioned he did have a gun on him. Can you confirm that, and any other weapons?
There was a weapon located approximately 200 yards away from where the arrest occurred. It was in a black bag. Mr. Manfredonia walked them over there willingly, walked the detectives and the agents and the law enforcement personnel over to the bag. He did not. No. You asking if there's a motive? No, we don't have information on that right now. He wasn't agitated at the time. He followed all directions from law enforcement as they drew down on him, and he got right to the ground. So he was very cooperative at that stage in the process. I'd rather not answer that at this point in time. We don't know where he was heading. We don't know it at this point in time.
Was there anything, have you released any information about the wall, the pictures of his walls and what's supposed to be his dorm room that have been circulating on social media?
We have not circulated any of that.
Yeah, but can you confirm if it's...
I can't confirm that right now.
Families are saying that they're upset because they say the police are notified a year ago that he presented a danger to the public. Did that come up in your investigation? Can you comment on that?
I have no information relative to that.
Was there any indication in when you were looking
I have no information relative to that. I'm sorry.
Was there anything about him getting kicked out of a frat that's come up in the investigation?
I'm unaware of that.
Were you able to, apparently he was taking Uber, but was that very helpful in piecing where his whereabouts were?
Yes.
We'll take 2 more questions.
How was he doing that? I'm just curious. I mean, was he using stolen cell phone or was he using someone else's Uber account?
We can't confirm that at this point in time. It's still under investigation. The investigation is not over by any stretch. With- I can't say that right now, sir. Sorry. He was walking along the wood line.
What kind of charges do you think might be filed under stolen?
I can't comment on charges right now. I think down the road. Correct, not today.
Yeah, if he's extradited, where would he come in? Or here, or when they extradited, where would he show up? Here, or would he be taken into custody? Whereabouts? You know?
He'll be taken into custody in Maryland, brought to Connecticut, and served with the arrest warrants that are currently on file.
But I mean up here. Where would they bring him up here if they extradited?
I'm not sure.
So what is who is abducted? One of the releases said she escaped. Is that accurate?
I can't comment on that right now.
Do you have any further details on what he was doing in Wellington and this young woman who he may have been trying to visit?
I don't have information on that I can release right now.
Any of the victims' families reached out to them to tell them that you made an arrest? If so, what was their reaction?
We talked to all the family members of the victims. They were very appreciative of our efforts and bringing him to justice. I think they were very relieved that he was finally in custody. Thank you.